You know what really grinds my gears this week? Fucking taxes. Taxes are bullshit. I mean, taxes are theft. In my opinion, one of the most underrated thefts of taxes is that it turns the people that build society's most important infrastructure from the private sector to the public sector. What do I mean by that? Well, let's just get down to brass tacks, guys. I think that money in free markets, money in theory is a reflection of your contributions to society. The money that you have is in theory a reflection to how valuable your contributions to society have been. Right? We get money in exchange for our effort, our work, our time, our energy. You get up, you don't hit snooze on your alarm. You don't go to the beach. As humans, we are able to prioritize our future, right? And we put in time, energy, effort, labor, and work. In exchange for that, we get money. And this is our ability. Money is literally our ability to lower our time preference, capture our work and our value we're creating today into a market good to bring it with us tomorrow, in a year, in a decade, in a century. The better the money, the better society, because it lowers our time preference and its ability to commoditize the value we're creating and bring it with us later and exchange it for things. So in theory, money should be a reflection of your contributions to the world. So therefore, our greatest earners are our greatest producers. Are you following with me? The guy that makes $1 billion a year, that guy's really fucking valuable to society in theory. He must have created something and is doing something that a lot of people value a lot. I hate to say it, that's just facts. You know, you've got people that are like, fuck rich people. Well, rich people are just successful at providing value to people, providing things that people are willing to pay for. So, where am I going with this? Well, who would you guys want to be building the railroads, building the airports, building the bridges? Would you rather have Elon Musk doing that or the US government, some arm of the US government? Guys, it's not even fucking close. The US government loses $2 trillion a year. They're a fucking mess. They're liars. They're frauds. It's theft. They steal. They lose money. They create debt. They create war, and they lie. Elon Musk is one of the greatest entrepreneurs ever. Let him build the bridge. Let him build the airport. Why tax him, force him to take half of the value he's creating and give it to you? Because here's the thing. People will say, oh, well, without taxes, our railroads wouldn't work. Our bridges wouldn't be built. Get the fuck out of here. You think a wealthy person is going to want to live in a society with dog shit roads, with no bridges, with shitty airports, with airplanes that might kill them? No, fuck no. Of course not. Nobody wants to live that way. Listen, it's implying that without the government taking money out of your pocket, you'd want to live in a dog shit society. That's giving way too much credit to the government. Fuck the government. People want to live in a nice society. If you did not take half the wealth of your greatest contributors to society, they would absolutely invest that money into public infrastructure. Of course they would. I'll give you guys a great example. When I was talking with El Salvador's government, the Salvadoran government, I made this suggestion. I said, listen, you want to have favorable regulation. People, builders, myself, Jack Dorsey, Tether, we don't want crazy rules like what happens in New York with the bit license. We don't want that. Just let us build software. And so El Salvador has one of the most lax regulations on building with Bitcoin shit. And the other thing I said is just take it easy on the fucking taxes, okay? Like that would be just my suggestion. I obviously, Naive makes his own decisions, obviously. But my suggestion was, what do you want as a country? You want the world's greatest producers, meaning the world's greatest earners, the top earners, the net productive people, the people bringing in the most income, which in theory means they're providing some of the most value to the world. Like Mark Zuckerberg, you can hate him all you want. He's a valuable contributor to society. People use his products. People pay for his shit. And I have evidence of that because his company does $100 billion of revenue. It's just a fact. I hate to break it to you. It's a fact. So what did El Salvador want? El Salvador wanted those people to come to their country. Said, how the fuck are we going to get a Google office here? How are we going to get Tether to want to be here? And I told them very simply, don't overregulate them. Don't overtax them. That's how. And what did they do? No taxes for Tether and Google or whoever's there, and very minimal regulation at nothing that is unnecessary. And what do you get? Tether's literally building the Tether Tower. They're building infrastructure for the country. Guess what? Tether's headquartered there, and they don't want to live in a dog shit, deadbeat country. Duh. It's fucking crazy to me. It's the same thing where the Fed basically claims they need to lower or raise rates to get us to want to consume things. Guess what? I want to consume things no matter what the interest rate is, you fucking moron. I want to consume things because I'm human. And if I have the money and I've accumulated the value, of course I want to consume things. Of course I want a car. Of course I want a house. Of course I want to eat food. The fucked up idea that you need to centrally plan my innate desire to consume, you're a fucking piece of shit. It's the same thing with taxes. If you think that people won't build towers and bridges and railroads and subways without getting taxed and their wealth stolen from them, you're a fucking idiot. So imagine this. El Salvador's infrastructure is being built by the Googles, by the Tethers, by the people that are talented at building things, at managing people, at actually putting forth budgets. So El Salvador's airport is better than fucking the one in Chicago. I swear to you guys, I'm not making this up. El Salvador's airport is better. Why? Because the actual net producers, the talented people that build real shit, that don't just use debt and steal money from people and run deficits, are building it. El Salvador's airports are better. Their new town square is better. Chicago's a fucking shithole. Why? Because they tax the shit out of their greatest producers in society, and the money is being spent by fucking idiots. So taxes not only are just legitimate theft of your contributing time and energy to the world, and I'm just going to forcefully take that from you. By the way, it's force, where if I don't pay taxes, someone shows up to my house with a gun in their holster. That's a policeman. They show up with an armed weapon on their hip, and they say, you're coming with me to jail, and if not, I'm going to have to get my gun out and point it at your head. That is force. I hate to break it to you. So I am forced to give up my income and the value I'm producing to society with the expectation that they will fix the roads, they will build the subway. Because I'll tell you what, because what you're doing is you're sidelining producers. So people like me or anyone, they're saying, I already paid my taxes. I already paid my fair share. I'm definitely not going to go help Chicago now build fucking railroads or fix the subway or fix the potholes in the street. You guys already taxed me over 50%. Fuck you. If you didn't, I would be more than happy to take some of my income and work with my neighbors and with my neighborhood on making it better. You are sidelining the greatest producers in society that you have and telling them, sit this one out, and you are stealing the money into the most unproductive group of humans ever, which is the government. They're losing $2 trillion a year. The level of unproductive. Again, if money is an information system, it's a measurement of contributions to society. Someone that makes a lot of money is theoretically really valuable. Someone that loses a fuck ton of money every year, what does that mean about them? It's crazy. Countries like El Salvador figured this out. Hey, we're going to allow net producers to come here to flourish with the expectation that humans don't want to live in a shithole. And they're going to invest in the country and give back to the place that's not stealing from them and is allowing them to build amazing things. And guess what? That's what's happening. Google now has a massive Google tower. Tether's building all sorts of shit. Their airport is nice as fuck. God, fucking, it's tax season. So that's what grinds my gears. It's fucking pathetic. It's fucking pathetic. It's not only stealing from, but it's sidelining the most valuable contributors to society. It's saying, sit this one out. So the most valuable contributors don't get to participate in building the societal infrastructure. They've sidelined the private sector, and the public sector is proven to be incompetent, fraudulent liars. Because now you have literal political arms that are like, my political policy is to just steal even more from wealthy people. And as a free market person, wealthy people are allowed to be wealthy. They've earned the wealth in theory by being valuable. And if you don't like that some guy is rich, then build a better product than him and he'll get poor because people will stop using and paying for his product. But don't steal from them and give it to people that just bleed money, build $40 trillion of debt and use it to finance war. It's fucking stupid. All right. I have a clip saved. This is Nayib Bukele talking about the U.S. and taxes and money as a whole. Let me mute myself. You guys should listen to this. Shout out El Salvador, man. People give El Salvador a lot of shit. Am I a fan of everything El Salvador has done or does? No, of course. There's nuance. And if I was the president, I'd do some stuff differently. But on net, dude, Nayib, man, he's doing it how I would do it in that, don't abuse and steal from your net producers, from the great producers in society. Allow them to participate in shaping the world that you're collectively sharing and living in. Those are your most talented, greatest people. Tether, Google. Don't abuse them. Don't steal from them. Don't treat them like shit. Don't violate their property rights. And you're going to get a better airport, better transportation, better town hall.
They always tell me that the problem is high taxes, but they're wrong. Of course, high taxes are extremely high here in the United States. I give you that. The real problem is not the high taxes themselves, but the fact that they are not even really funding the government. Not even those high taxes, higher than a lot of places in the world, not even those taxes are really funding the government. So who's financing the government? Government is financed by treasury bonds. And who buys the treasury bonds? Mostly the Fed. And how does the Fed buy them? By printing money. But what backing does the Fed have for that money being printed? The treasury bonds themselves. So basically, you finance the government by printing money out of thin air. Well, so if the government can print unlimited amounts of money out of thin air, why do they collect taxes? The answer is simple, but it's very shocking. The real problem is that you pay high taxes only to uphold the illusion that you are funding the government, which you are not. It's shocking, but it's true. The government is funded by money printing, paper backed with paper, a bubble that will inevitably burst. The situation is even worse than it seems, because if most Americans and the rest of the world were to become aware of this farce, confidence in your currency would be lost, the dollar will fall, and the Western civilization with it. If the next president of the United States doesn't make the necessary policies and structural change, sooner or later that bubble will burst. There's still time. You don't have to make the same mistakes we did in the 60s and the 70s. You can still jump before the water boils. Winning the election...
So that video is awesome, obviously. Nayib basically says, in more or less words, wait, why do you need to tax your people if you can print money? And he makes kind of a joking claim that taxes are just an illusion that we're supporting the government, but the government's really supported by the money printer. And if the government said, we don't have to tax you, and we're running $2 trillion deficits every year, everyone would say, wait a second. Well, then how are we paying for all of this? And they would realize that their currency is getting slowly or rapidly, depending on the date, debased. And so it's fucking bullshit. My line of no man should work for what another man can print. No man should be taxed in what another man can print. Fuck you guys. You're gonna steal from me, and you're gonna steal from me in two ways. One, by either putting a gun to my head and saying, give me 50% of your income. and by printing money to finance wars. Fucking bullshit.